All right, welcome back. This is the next installment of the Weekend Review. Sounds from the Crowd. It's July 26th, and it's actually a special one because we have DB on site in Chicago right now, coming home from a Chicago trip, yearly Chicago trip to the Cubs game. And you're thinking, well, there's no fans in any stadiums. Well, there's one stadium that has access to live fans. Well, it's not directly in at Wrigley. You got the rooftop seats, and DB was fortunate enough to get up there today. DB, how was it?
Man, it was the freaking best thing of all time. I always said I was going to go up to the Wrigley rooftops if I ever got engaged or had a monumental moment in my life. That seems further away than imminent death does. So what I did is I go ahead and I went up there. And it was awesome. Unlimited food, unlimited beers, beautiful sunny day in Chicago. Cubs are 2-3. They're going to go to the playoffs. They're going to get their second championship. What a day! Loved it, and it was a beautiful example of America coming together.
And so, being out there, having no access to the stands, actual Wrigley, how was it different as far as watching the game and being able to, go through it?
So first of all, it's hot as balls because
Yeah.
you are way higher than you would ever be in direct sunlight. So
Right.
um, it's a little bit brutal, but you've got like kind of indoor outdoor seating. They've got a bajillion chameleon beers plus food for you. You're really not that far outside of the stadium. We were insulting Christian Yelich today. So they'd be like, Yelich, Yelich, and be like, you suck. Which was really a beautiful moment for everybody. And he was playing left field and he could hear us. So we were far apart, but we felt close together.
And you also said that Kyle Schwarber threw a pitch from the field into the seats, huh?
Yeah, a lot of people have said that he doesn't have an elite arm, but wait till you see him throw something across the road to the adoring fans. Shout out Kyle Schwarber.
Wow, that sounds like an exciting. Sounds like an exciting day. At least a little fix for live sports.
We lived the goddamn dream today.
So we're talking, and you're in the airport right now, and you're on your way back to Houston. Tell us how much that plane ticket was from Chicago to Houston.
So, as an economic freedom fighter, I always want to make sure I'm patronizing some of the big stops. I paid $17.10 on Spirit Airlines to go from Chicago O'Hare to Houston Bush. So, you guys may need to correct your prices because that's cheaper than a pack of Trulies. So.
Speaking of Trulies, were any Trulies down today? Did they have Trulies on the rooftop? It's an important question.
No hard seltzers, which was a huge mess. Or I should say a huge miss.
So
It was a
I
mess.
mean, so the good thing about this week is that live sports has we're back in North America, right? We got baseball going. We started out on Thursday night with the Yankees and Nationals, Dodgers and Giants, and then through this weekend, anybody able to catch some games? Anybody watch anything? Danny, did you catch anything?
Yeah, I was in and out of games though. I saw some of the opening night Giants game, San Francisco Giants, and then I caught some of the Spurs preseason game, and
Yeah.
neither one was very eventful, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. Randy, did you see anything?
Watch a little bit of opening day, with in San Antonio, but
Oh
also
yeah.
some hoops. Also watch a little bit of preseason, and it's for the Spurs we're not looking very good, but at the same time it's just what it is. Excited to see it all kind of start up next week.
Yeah, I think that's part of it with the NBA. They're playing like it's preseason.
Yeah,
And so
it's hard to judge it.
right. With baseball, I think we're so used to such a slow start because it's like, oh, there's 162 games, and so I think no matter what, there's still going to be that slow start. So we'll see. Once I think some teams get in grooves, maybe after 8 to 10 games, we'll see a little bit more consistency.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different too because it isn't 162 games, right? It's only 60 games. So there's a lot going on right now as far as like the pitching's kind of messed up in certain teams. DB, I know he was hoping that Big John Lester was going to take the mound today, but normally John Lester's the opening day starter and he's gonna pitch on Thursday. So that's going to be, he's going to pitch tomorrow on the fourth game. So that, it tells you enough already that our rosters, our rotations are already jacked up. And then also the telecasts, the baseball telecasts were kind of weird. And I know there's going to be some learning curves. What'd you guys think about the telecasts without the fans? Because it's obvious absence.
Yeah, for me, like the tonight's game of the Braves game, they brought in Chipper Jones, and so it's 3 people, but they're all like 2 of them are from home, and they're probably doing suits up top and like swim trunks on bottom. And I mean, I enjoy the sounds of the game of baseball, especially during the playoffs when they mic up the bases and there's just a lot more sounds of the game coming through the TV. So I really wish they would just go more to that and stop feeling like they have to fill in the sounds that the crowd's not there to make.
Right. And Raina, did you see anything on the basketball end?
Yeah, I think the NBA has done a good job trying to entertain or keep some type of energy atmosphere-wise. They have like an announcer that is doing like 4:30, he hits it. They kind of have somebody livening up the play a little bit. And they seem like they can kind of make the scene a little more. I think they're going to have to work on it. Yeah. And all sports. NFL is going to have the same problem. Well, no, they won't. They'll probably have fans. But every other sport, they're going to have to create an atmosphere for live TV from the audience. So.
And Drew, what did you hear at the actual stadium? Was there music playing? Was there noise, pumped in noise? What was going on over there?
Pretty silent over there. There was definitely more so on the fan side to try and get people hyped. Those guys are having to motivate one another from within.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was watching a game, and it was like bottom of the ninth, runner in scoring position, and one of the announcers said, normally what you're going to see here is the pitcher's going to be rattled because there's going to be 30,000 people yelling at him, but now there's nobody yelling at him, and then so it's easier, I mean, I wouldn't say I don't know how much easier, but I don't know if I could quantify it, but I'm sure it's easier mentally to pitch in front of a quiet stadium as opposed to having 30,000 drunk DBs yelling at you saying that you suck.
It's going to be different. Like even Tiger Woods said that the PGA Tour is different with fans. If golf is different, baseball is going to be way different.
Yeah, for sure. And then basketball as well, because you see the I've seen some highlights where it's basically just the players are trying to cheer each other on, like DB was saying, like I think it all has to come from the players, and it's a tough thing to do.
I'm wondering,
especially if you're.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I'm wondering if you're not going to see those big momentum swings, because you'll see them, in games where like teams will get really hot and there'll be like an 18-3 run. I'm wondering if we're going to have like a little less of the momentum changes because no fans. Maybe not. I don't know. But I'm not sure if there's a role into the gameplay. I don't know.
Yeah, and the home field advantage is, and obviously NBA is different, but in baseball is their home field advantage. And I'm sure it's something where you're not sleeping in a hotel. Maybe that is your advantage, but at the end of the day, there's no people yelling at you. What is the difference? So yeah, interesting to keep an eye on. But moving into the NBA news has nothing to do with the bubble quite yet. But Tom Thibodeau signed with the New York Knickerbockers, going to New York. I like Tibbs. I'm a Tibbs guy. when he came in from Boston under Doc, he was really the focal point of that defense, helped them win a championship, and then he moved on to Chicago, had some quick success with Derrick Rose, right? And then Derrick Rose got hurt, and then he kind of fluttered out. But he's solid, right? He's solid. Raina, I think you had some thoughts about Tibbs.
I don't know. So I'm not as much of a Tom Thibodeau fan. I think the way he left Minnesota, the Timberwolves, was a dumpster fire with the whole team being, on each other's asses, and Jimmy Butler going off the rails, losing that locker room. And New York already is a dumpster fire. So you added, I don't know. I'm not seeing it as a good hire because to me, I didn't like what he did at Minnesota. I thought that was kind of just mismanaging his team. And Nolan makes really bad decisions all around, but I'm not seeing the upside in him, but I might be proven wrong. But I'm not a fan of that hire. Not for 5 years. But it's the New York Knicks, they get what they get. So.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think, Danny, about the structure? Because Raina mentioned the Minnesota Timberwolves, and obviously Minnesota Timberwolves had poor leadership at the very top. They're looking to sell their team, and obviously the Knicks have a historically bad reputation of ownership. Is that going to change? Does Tibbs have any? Is it going to make a difference?
I don't think anybody's going to change how the organization is run until Dolan sells the team. But I do think that Tibbs is going to need to sign a superstar. I mean, he's in the right market, I think, to sign a superstar. But I think he's also one or two bad seasons away from just getting the stigma of, well, he did well in Chicago because of Derrick Rose, not really because of him.
Right.
And so, I think there's a bit riding on it. I do like the fact that they give him 5 years because I think with any coach, in an organization, it's going to take a few years to create a culture and develop a system and hopefully see that pay off. So, I mean, if they give him the full 5 years, he'll have his chance. But if he doesn't do well, I'm not so certain he'll get another head job.
And with a big market, like New York, DB, what do you think about a timetable? How much time is he given to be successful? Because he's going to suck for a little while, right? They have to. I mean, it's the Knicks.
Yeah, they're going to suck for a little bit, but he worked with some really good young Bulls teams. I mean, you think about, they're kind of like a second team in the Eastern Conference around the old turn of the decade prior. I think he's a good coach. The reality is franchises need a lot of internal structure. So maybe he's the guy they need. D'Antoni's not a guy that's gonna lead the Knicks to Peter. So maybe you need a disciplinarian. I don't know. They'll probably still suck.
Yeah, I mean it like we were talking about. We've talked about this before about it's just the structure of the organization, and without a good leadership at the top, I mean, it's really difficult for the people at the bottom to do their job. Raina?
Well, Tom does have a reputation of overworking players. That's kind of been his negative stigma on playing them too much. Every coach has their own quirks, whatever. But I would say with him, he kind of has that reputation from Chicago and has that reputation in Minnesota. And I'm not sure if that's going to really, he's going to have some really good young talent. I think R.J. Barrett's really up and coming, good rookie. So we'll see.
But really, it's a matter of getting a superstar, right? Are they going to be able to sign a superstar?
Yeah, basically, is he a player's coach? That's what signing a superstar means these days. So that's kind of why I mean, if you have a reputation of overworking players, it's now swinging the other way where it's let's give the players exactly what they want. Let's give them everything, like Kawhi Leonard them, and let them have, multiple days off a week. And that's kind of superstar status these days, And so whether he's going to have to change his style to develop the culture for having a superstar is another thing.
Yeah, Danny, what do you think? You think superstar is on the way to New York?
Well, I think that in New York, it's been such a long games that the expectation isn't just to make the playoffs. It's to be competitive for, to win the conference and get to the finals. And so I think he's going to absolutely have to get a superstar, at least one. And then because right across the river, you got Kyrie and KD. Yeah. And so if Brooklyn is outshining them, they're going to get even more pressure from that side. So hopefully, if they give him the deal, they better open the checkbook for him.
Yeah, that's true, and I think it'll come. Yeah, it's just a matter of time. I mean, we've been saying this for the last 20 years, 25 years. They haven't really been good in our lifetime, but you would think that something's going to happen. They got Melo, that didn't work out. But that's next year. Let's focus on what's happening right now in the bubble. And I know Reina was a big proponent of this bubble is going to drive people to go outside of it, and people are going to go and do things they're not supposed to, right? Sure enough, 2 weeks in, we got our first offender, DB. We see Lou Williams go over to what's it called? What was the gentleman's club called?
I think it's called Magic City. It was in Atlanta.
Yeah, and so he goes, and I guess he had to tell them that he went. Was that correct?
No, it got popped on an Instagram story.
Oh, it popped up. So then they were doing like some detective work, and he's like, "All right, yeah, I went." Is that what happened?
Yeah, he ended up. It popped up on an Instagram story. He said it was an old picture, and then he changed his story to saying that he was going there for food because that's his favorite place to eat.
So, DB, give me your breakdown on strip club food, if you have one.
If you're eating at a strip club, your life, your day, your week, your purpose is going to really arrive. Oftentimes it doesn't taste that bad. You just have to think about the fact that you're eating chicken tenders at a strip club. So, during a strip club, general rule of thumb, you probably live a better life.
So what is this a product of, Reina? Is this a product of Lou Williams not being able to keep his old lifestyle? Is it he's getting bored in the bubble? Is it, what do you think?
I don't know why he was trying to justify it that it was for food. That still doesn't make any sense. Like, you're in the bubble, bro. That's the whole idea, was to stay away from the rest of the world and not ruin the NBA, like KD. You have to, actually do your part. It was super simple. He's like, well, it was food. That doesn't make it better. Like, it really doesn't. You went to the strip club. At the end of the day, that's about a lot of people who are around a lot of people that probably shouldn't, haven't been doing social distancing. So, Lou, come on, man. Come off the bench better than that. So I'm not I'm hoping they can keep the season going, but it's a bad look for Lou Williams.
Yeah. I think had he not lied about saying it was an old photo first, if the original story was like, hey, I went to go get food, and it's like, okay, I guess it could have been somewhat believable, but after trying to say like it was an old picture, and then to say that you're going to go to a strip club because that's your favorite place to eat.
You don't have a favorite place to eat.
So in the strip club, are the strippers wearing masks? Because that's important here.
I don't know, but I know that here in
Texas, they're wearing it. That's so.
Yeah, here in Texas, we're onto a new business model with drive-through strip clubs. At least they're happening here in San Antonio.
Dude, I saw that. You just drive around. It's like a little tent, and then I don't know what that looks like. I wouldn't know. I don't plan on knowing. Because as DB said, if you find yourself driving through a strip club, there's things about your life that you need to get in order. Am I right, DB?
That's exactly right.
All right. Speaking of things needed to get in order, we had our boy Kanye West come up in the news this week. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big Kanye guy. I love Kanye, not as much as Kanye loves Kanye, but I do love me some Kanye West. I love all his music, some of his stuff more so than the others, but there's there's certain things that are going on with Kanye, and it's causing him to lash out. Some people are pointing to he's just crazy, and some people are pointing to the fact that he's like medically crazy. right? Raina, we got any thoughts on Kanye?
I feel bad for him. I mean, he hasn't been the same for a long time. I mean, he's kind of been slowly getting a little bit more, just kind of outbreaks and everything in that nature. And you're watching this guy from where he came from to where he's at now, and it's just been a huge change. And I think that whether it's fame or being in the spotlight, it's taking a toll on him. But the guy, when he first came into the industry, he was sharp, he was funny, he was witty. And, I just, you miss that old guy, you watch these old interviews and he was nothing like that. So obviously something has happened along the way, or he just doesn't give a fuck, which that would be awesome actually. But I don't think that's the case. I think he actually is just losing it a little bit. So.
And I know that some people also point to the Kardashian curse when you see a guy like Lamar Odom go through that family and he got chewed up and spit out, you know what I mean? And he ended up in the hospital on meds, all that good stuff. I know Danny you have a thought on that?
Yeah, I feel bad for him because it's hard to know what's real and what isn't, and what's the truth and what's not, right? Because I think anything that Kris Kardashian puts out through her kids, there's an agenda.
Right.
It's like 5 or 6 steps down the road. You know what I mean? So there's a reason they're doing everything they do. And so I think the safe play is, well, let's just kind of put it on him, and protect our image. And then when this thing falls apart, because like when the thing fell apart with Lamar, it was Lamar. I mean, right now, Chris Humphries looks like a genius bailing out of that family. I mean,
Absolutely.
It was probably the best thing he's ever done, including his NBA career. It was that good of a decision.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And so, but I'm also in the camp. Obviously, that's the case. I don't like the way Kanye is being perceived right now. Obviously, he brings it on himself. But I do think that he's sick, man. I think he's sick, and I think he is maybe he's not on medications. Maybe he's not taking medications, and it's causing this imbalance, and he's just kind of delusional at some point. And that's a shame.
Yeah, he definitely needs. Hopefully he gets whatever it is he needs. It's easy for us to kind of look back and say he needs this, he needs that. Who really knows, man?
Yeah, but I will say, and I think I think I can speak for everyone. I say that Yeezy brought it in his day. I know DB. Every time he gets into Chicago, what's the song that you're playing? Home of Kanye West.
Unbelievable artist, and anyone who's gone through some kind of mental pain, I feel for. I think super talented people sometimes go to pretty dark depths to do what they do, and I hope he sorts himself out.
But your favorite Kanye West song?
Homecoming,
easily. If you don't know about now, I'm talking about Chi-Town.
I'm talking about Chi-Town. Shout out Chris Martin, Coldplay.
Yeah, with Coldplay, a little Coldplay collabo. Yeah, absolutely. And it's and Drew's touching on something there too. We see a lot of musicians they're on something, right? And they're just I don't know, they go to a different place in order to create this incredible music, right? It's countless artists, think about just Kurt Cobain, Nirvana, right? Dude was on all sorts of shit, and they put out some incredible stuff. Unfortunately, it led to his death. And Amy Winehouse, same thing, right? Again, led to her death. Hopefully that doesn't happen with Kanye. It doesn't go to that point. But what's another artist you guys could think of that they're just, out of their minds, but just putting on a show?
Well, I think at one time, Eminem was out of his mind with how many pills he was taking. He was one person. Amy Winehouse, too. I thought they both put out better stuff when they were sober. And then, who knows what fame does to people, man?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, yeah.
Jimi Hendrix, no doubt. Beatles were on all sorts of shit too.
Yeah, they at one time they were all putting LSD in their cup of tea every single morning.
Dang, just living the dream.
Michael Jackson, he OD'd. That guy went. His nose fell off.
Yeah,
Talk
that
about
has a
people
lot
that
to
go
do
through
with
some shit. Michael Jackson went through a
right.
lot of shit before. Super talented artist. From what I remember, like my dad used to always tell me stories about how Michael Jackson used to practice the same dance moves, like almost obsessively. That's why he could dance so well. He was like a perfectionist, and was just way too hard of a worker, and just fell apart.
Right.
That's most likely what happened to him. I mean, he obviously went through a lot of stress being a child star, so
Yeah.
it's a lot of time to be in the spotlight.
There's old comedian who's no longer with us, Bill Hicks, who like one of his most famous lines is, and I forget which. I think it's on one of the band Tool's albums, where he says, "Those of you guys, this is in the '80s. You're against drugs. He's like, take all your music, all your records, and burn them because all that music that you love so much, all the artists, they were all really high on drugs."
yeah, for sure. And another example that I have is Kid Cudi, man. Kid Cudi put out
Yeah.
some great music his first few albums, and then he openly said, "Okay, I'm not going to smoke weed anymore." Right, and so when he did that, his music is obvious. There was a huge switch into the sound of his music, and it just wasn't good anymore, And it's crazy that's the case, but it is what it is, All right, so what we got baseball's back, right? Basketball's coming back. What are we looking forward to the most this week, Raina?
NBA back on Friday, baby, and none of this preseason shit. I'm ready for the real season. Fake real season. It's kind of.
So when's the first game? The first game's Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah, Thursday.
Lakers and Clippers, and then who plays the second game? Or who? There's two games, I think, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember who's in the second game.
I think I'll look it up. Y'all keep going.
Yeah, but Lakers and Clippers coming. We have LeBron versus Kawhi. I wonder what it's going to look like, because what we're seeing right now in the preseason is probably who is it?
Jazz and Pelicans.
Jazz and Pelicans. Oh, we got Zion coming. Let's see what happens with Zion, Danny.
Yeah, so that's another part with the whole Lou Williams thing. I mean, he's going to miss for the first two games, and they're probably not going to catch the Lakers for the 1 seed, but they're only a game and a half, I believe, up on Denver. And so 5, 6, and 7 seed are all pretty much at least like tied right now. So it's hard to say if they don't win these two games that he's out on, because they're already shorthanded as it is. Patrick Beverley's out.
Right.
This could not put them in such a great position for the playoffs. Now, what I'm looking forward to is, while I don't wish harm or injury on anybody, I'm looking for it to be officially declared that Justin Verlander is out for the season, because I think it would be wonderful for the Astros to lose their ace as just a little gift for last year.
Yeah, DB, they said that Verlander, did you see that? I know you haven't been connected really, but it seems like Verlander is out for the season. He denied reports, but what do you think about that?
I mean, I was thinking they were going to pull off just 50 and 10 or something ridiculous. So
yeah,
if he's out, that toes things. But in the end, the world comes back to bite you in the ass. So,
hey, karma, man, it's a real thing. I think, man, it's a real
Indeed.
thing, and you treat people bad, and it's gonna come back around and gonna get you again. Like Danny
Cheating
said,
is good for business. Ask the Patriots. Cheating.
You don't wish it upon anybody, but if you don't have your starter, your ace in the hole, good luck to you. Especially when Garrett Cole left too. But yeah, I mean, I think in general, I think we're starting to get the ball rolling. We have baseball, which is going to be, I think, a nice supplement to basketball, right? I think basketball is going to be on the main stage because of the place. First of all, it's way more popular, but the place in its season is just, it's right here. Like we're going to see a pretty cool tournament, and I think that this weekend we're probably going to get some early games or games all day on the weekends. That's going to be pretty fun. I just wish, we would. Yeah. So that's going to be cool. You're going to be able to see, all right, this team's done, so they're going to leave. And it's going to be truly like the last two teams standing are going to be playing at the end of the day. So that's going to be pretty cool to watch. But from here on out, through the next week, we're gonna put out some more content with basketball coming back, some more baseball is back material. I'm gonna see what happens going on in football. We didn't even get to talk about the Jets and Jamal Adams being traded to the Seahawks. That'd be a good talking point too over the week. So thanks for listening again. July 26th, Sounds from the Crowd for the boys. I'm Paul. Have a good one.
See you.